This is Self-Care for Parents, and I'm with April Parker and Sasha Frinzl, two of our volunteers with Moms Supporting Moms. And what are these resets, right? And I like thinking about it as resets kind of takes the pressure off of like this big self-care. So what resets can we do with the kids around, right? Because for some of us, we can't get away. It might not be an option to go on a walk by ourselves. And for me, one of those is tea. And it's just interesting. I mean, my children are 3 and 6, 2 3-year-olds and a 6-year-old. They kind of respect that. I mean, you're holding a hot cup.
Yeah.
Right. So in some ways they know that they've got to be a little bit distant, and they do respect it as kind of this, like this moment, they're like, oh, you're drinking your tea, it kind of just changes the pace of things, for a moment.
Yeah.
And also, I've sometimes successfully, sometimes unsuccessfully done meditations with them, when we were having a really hard afternoon, and I've just been like, we're going to turn the lights down. I'm going to lay down on this rug, and it was a little bit, of a reset at least. So, what are kind of some workarounds or maybe some ways to do these acts when we have, babies or young children around?
So something that I really like to do is kind of incorporate DBT, so dialectical behavioral therapy, and using the 5 senses toolkit. So engaging all of your senses in something, so you're kind of just truly resetting. And you can do this simply when there is like a baby sleeping on you, or your toddler is watching some show and you're preparing dinner, or something like that. So you can either make yourself a little toolkit, or you can just do it in the moment. So I'll explain it. If let's just say that your baby has fallen asleep on you and you're trapped. If you get up, you move the baby, they might start crying, and then guess what? That any time that you had to just think is gone. Sorry, my cat is joining us.
It wouldn't be a Zoom call if the cat didn't jump on.
Exactly, or if a child didn't just run across the screen. And so let's say your baby's asleep on you. So thinking of your 5 senses, so sense of touch, gently rubbing your baby and just realizing like how soft and how soft they are. The sense of smell, so smelling their little head, kind of getting the sense of relief of, okay, they smell clean. That's one good thing. Taste, say that you have a glass of ice water next to you, just slowly sipping on the water, even if you crunch, sorry, this cat, crunching on an ice cube. Or if you have like a piece of candy or a piece of gum or something that you can focus on the sensation of it in your mouth, and just kind of, the point of the 5 senses is to really just embrace all of it and to kind of engage them at once. The sound, if you're listening to the sound of their breath, inhaling and exhaling, just kind of falling into that sweet rhythm with them, maybe even matching your own breath with theirs as well. And what sense did I leave out? Smell, touch, taste.
Sight.
Sight, yes. So you're seeing this beautiful little being on you, and just loving that moment and just like the stillness of it. Or you're watching TV and you're just able to focus on, the sound of that, the sight of that, whatever you're watching. Maybe it's funny. So yeah, just kind of doing that. And if you're not tied down, if the baby's not laying on you, maybe grabbing 5 items that will kind of bring you back and kind of give you that reset that you need, and having them like couch side or by your bedstand or anywhere that you might need them, where if you're in the moment, you've got something soft to touch, or you've got a piece of hard candy in there, a piece of gum, something that you like the smell of, and just kind of create your own little toolkit that you could have. That it can be really helpful.
Yeah, that reminds me that something I've done in the past, and like shut myself in the bathroom so that the children wouldn't get it, is just, because I think a lot of us are doing a lot of mindless eating right now, right? And that would be like a whole other talk. But to just take like one piece of chocolate and just like, I'll just sit and just let it melt in my mouth and just like really experience it. Something like that can be a reset in the day. I love chocolate.
Me too. It's a problem.
Yeah. And just thinking too, like I remember when they were babies and I wanted that shower reset, I would put them in their little bouncy seat or, you know, whatever it was, you know, and they can sit in the floor in the
Yeah.
shower safely. If you have music on, that'd be great for them. It's good for them, good for you. And, you know,
Mhm.
I would love to do that midday as like a, you know, get me through the afternoon to the evening kind of self-care.
Mhm. I think one of the things that gets in the way of doing these things, though, is that little thing called mom guilt
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like you're not doing the right thing if you're not doing something for everybody else. And it takes time and practice to get past that and to give yourself permission to take a few minutes for yourself, to say, no, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that. I know for me, during this COVID-19 crisis, I've gotten a rush of requests for therapy. And I feel I want to help as many people as I can. But I also am very aware that I need to take a break too, because of all the things that I told you that I do every day.
Yeah.
So I've decided, you know, at some point, I was like, you know what? I'm taking Easter weekend off. I'm not seeing anyone. We'll schedule another weekend. And I took Mother's Day weekend off, you know, and I gave myself permission. I know I'm a therapist and I know everybody needs a therapist right now, but I need a break too. I need to not deal with anything and just have free time for myself. And that's something that I'm definitely okay with doing. And now I intentionally like make sure I set aside at least one weekend, especially now, to stop and just take care of myself and enjoy my family too, you know, without having to do a Zoom meeting or, you know, all of the stuff that I normally do. And so that's important, to be able to recognize that you need to do these things to take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I think it's a journey, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
at the point in my self-care journey where like I can just do it for me. Like I think I deserve that and I do it for me. I think starting out, especially as a, you know, with a baby, I would have to tell myself, and it's true, like, okay, number one, I want to model for her that taking care of herself is important, right?
Mhm.
Like, it
Yeah.
actually is an act of parenting for me to sometimes say, no, mommy needs to go on a walk by herself.
Mm-hmm.
That's healthy for her, you know? And number two, I think if you do it enough, you see the benefits,
Yeah.
right? And it builds that confidence of going on that walk made me have a really good bedtime with them. You
Mhm.
know, I was feeling so much better.
Mhm.
And starting to make those connections, I think, helps you to start to push down that mom guilt. But I think you're right. That can be a really strong feeling that can stop us from maybe taking care of ourselves.